Is your desire beginning to return to that fresh feeling that you knew when you were a little one? That feeling of wanting without doubting? That feeling of wanting while at the same time expecting? That sort of desire is so who you really are. That feeling of desire without the contradictory doubt. Just that fresh desire. Just softly turning your attention towards something. And in your understanding of law of attraction, and in your understanding of your own vibrational countenance, because you have come to be aware that your emotions help you to know what your vibrational position is. So as you softly, specifically or generally, but softly, turn your attention toward something that you desire, you just relax in the knowledge that source energy, all of the fairies of the universe, will immediately begin to organize circumstances and events in order to accommodate the fulfillment, the manifestation, the full blooming manifestation of anything that you desire. You knew that when you came forth into this physical body, and we love seeing that recognition awakening within so many of you again. The realization that you are electrical beings, you are radio transmitters and receivers, and that you create through the power of your focused thought. And that while your words can enhance that, your words are inconsequential in relationship to the thought that you think. Because the thought that you think causes a vibrational frequency within you that law of attraction acts upon. So, when you look out into your environment and you see things that make your heart swell with appreciation, attention to those things causes you to align so powerfully with who you really are that there's no discord within your vibrational frequency. But when you look out and you see things that make you feel bad, whether it makes you feel fear or anger or depression, when you look at those things and as you ponder them you feel bad, that only means that you've introduced resistance into your radio field, into your vibrational field. And law of attraction, who is responding to the vibration of your being, is matching you with all things that you are offering. So when you are thinking about what you want, but at the same time thinking that it probably is not going to happen, law of attraction is matching all of that vibration. Now the way you feel is letting you know what you're doing with your mix of vibrations. In the same way that you do not set your radio dial on one station and expect to hear something that's being broadcast from another. You know that the frequencies have to match up. Same thing is true with your ideas of desire and your ideas of belief. You just can't want something that you don't believe and let it ever happen. It can't come to you because your doubt and that feeling of discomfort while you were in the middle of your doubt is telling you that you're not on the frequency of your own desire. And you've got to be if you're going to let it in. Whenever you want something, it is always on its way to you. But you purify your vibration in order to let it in. If you really, 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 really want something and you don't think about it much at all, it happens quite quickly. Because in your desire for it, it's summoned, and in your absence of contradictory thoughts or in your absence of conversation about how long it's taking or about how it's not coming, in that absence of resistance, it comes right in. So more and more, as we interact with you, we recognize that more of you are coming to recognize yourself as vibrational beings. And when you do that, when you really begin to feel your way through your experience, think and feel, think and feel, think and feel, think and feel. Now you are a powerful, deliberate creator. Most people are not deliberate creators because most people are observers. And so as you observe something, it causes you to activate a vibration within you that matches whatever you're observing. But unless you are very selective sifters about what you observe, then you've got a sloppy vibration going on. So you see something that you want and you think about how you want it, and it activates the vibration, and all things, non-physical and physical, all things material and energy, all things heaven and earth begin to conspire in order to deliver to you the manifestation of your desire every single time. But when you stand where you are and you notice that what you want is slow to come, you activate that slowing process too. Or when you look at where you are and you speak about where you are, you activate the absence of what you want within your vibrational field, which means the presence of what you want cannot come to you. When you say yes to something, you include the vibration of it within yours. When you say no to something, you include the vibration of it within yours. So more and more you are coming to realize that it is important for you to deliberately direct your thought. However, we would far rather that you pay attention to the way you feel and that you direct your thought or you guide your thought by using your guidance system. That you guide yourself by reaching for the best feeling thought that is available to you now. The thing that's tricky about deliberate creating in a world where there are so many of you deliberately creating, or in a world where there are so many of you who law of attraction is responding to, is that there is a temptation to give quite a bit of your attention to what's happening to others and to gauge your progress by your relationship with their progress. And the thing that is troubling about that, crippling really about that, is that you can't make those comparisons because what they're doing with their vibrational field has nothing to do with you. That would be like having a radio in your living room and someone else in the house has their radio in the living room and you tune your radio to what you want to hear, and at the same time that you tune your radio, theirs automatically changes frequencies too. You say, well, that doesn't usually happen. They could be on one frequency and I could be on another frequency. And while we might not be all that compatible while we are blaring all of that sound into the same room, my setting my tuner does not change their tuner. We are different vibrational transmitters and receivers. So when you are comparing what's happening to you to what's happening to someone else, you get all turned around. What you're wanting to do is pay attention only to the vibrational frequencies that are happening within you. In other words, the distance vibrationally between where you are and where you want to be is the only thing that is of any concern at all to you. Where am I in relationship to where I want to be? It's like Magellan in Jerry Nestor's Monster Bus. Magellan is a navigational guidance system. And Magellan knows where they are. There are satellites in the sky, an antenna on their roof, a computer brain in the monster bus. The satellites in the sky give the brain in the monster bus information about where they are. And so Jerry Nestor just program in the address that they want to go to, and Magellan tells them how to get there. Magellan is only interested in the distance between where they are and where they want to be. Magellan never says, where have you been? Magellan never says, how long have you been there? Magellan never says, Jerry Nestor, I've given you guidance about where you say you want to go, and you've been ignoring me. You exit the freeway, you go places you haven't asked me. I've had it with you. I'm not giving you any more guidance. Magellan just calculates the distance and the best way to get from where they are to where they want to be. And that's what your guidance system does too. Your guidance system helps you know where you are vibrationally speaking in relationship to where you want to be vibrational speaking. And if you are paying attention to the way you feel, you can always have clear guidance. As Jerry Nestor traveled for many years back and forth between Phoenix and San Diego, about halfway is Yuma, Arizona. And when they come to Yuma, they don't panic because they're not in San Diego. They just keep moving in the direction of San Diego because they understand the distance. It's easy to have trust or belief or knowing that your outcome is going to be as you want it to be. What happens so often with you relative to your own emotional vibrational guidance is that we think sometimes you lose track of where you are because you are not considering the only two factors that matter. You're not considering the vibrational feel of where you want to be in relationship with the vibrational feel of where you are. We've been teasing that when they get to Yuma, they don't have an emotional meltdown because they're not in San Diego, and then get so disoriented that they just turn around and go back to Phoenix. And yet, that's what happens with so many of you. You're on your way to something that you want, but you're so aware of where you are that where you are dominates your vibrational field, and then you can't get to where you want to be. And so you say, I'm stuck in Yuma. And we say, you can't be stuck in Yuma. You can't be stuck anywhere because your vibration is always in motion. Things are changing constantly in this vibrational. You do not turn your radio on and say to the radio, play that song that was on when I last had you on. I know it's in there. Give it to me. It was there when I turned you off. Now give it to me now that I've turned you on. Because you know that the radio is a transmitting and receiving machine. And you are too. So as Jerry and Esther were driving to San Diego on Thursday, they spent the night in Yuma. Esther said this could be dangerous, given all the rhetoric Abraham has been giving about getting stuck in Yuma. And then Esther said, wouldn't it be fun to take a picture of a highway sign to put in the quarterly journal? Since Abraham has been talking so much about not getting stuck in Yuma, let's take a picture of us stuck in Yuma. She said, we'll get the big red suitcase out and we'll put it by the street sign and I'll sit on it and look discouraged and you can take a picture. And then Jerry pointed out that the highway sign was 20 feet in the air and he would not be able to get the picture of Esther sitting in front of it. And Esther said, well then let's just take some pictures of some signs. And so they got onto the freeway and right away Esther saw the best possible sign. It said Phoenix that way, San Diego that way. And Esther said, that's the perfect sign, take the picture. But Jerry could not get the camera turned on in time. So Jerry said, let's make a U-turn, which is not the easiest thing to do with a 65-foot rig. But Esther managed to turn it around and come back around to the sign. And this time, the camera had turned itself off. It took too long. So they looped around again. And this time, the camera said, no memory space. So they looped around again. Esther dumped the pictures out of the camera. They turned on the generator, plugged the camera into the generator, looped around one last time, and got the picture. Esther said, that was close. I thought we were going to be stuck in Yuma. It's the self-fulfilling prophecy. When you know where you want to be, and more importantly, you know where you are in relationship to where you want to be, then and only then are you able to always move in the right direction. Sometimes we see someone in a place of utter depression, and their Abraham friends, annoying little rascals that you are, want them to feel more positive. Their Abraham friends encourage them to pivot or work on their book of positive aspects or get on a rampage of appreciation. But in their depression, they have not access to those thoughts or those vibrations. And at an unconscious level, they are often guided to the best feeling thought that they can find as they discover anger. Now, most people who are watching this from the outside, who would find them in their angry outburst, would counsel them about the inappropriateness of that anger. But we would pat them on the back for the improved thought and feeling. Because if you've ever been in a place of depression, you know from your personal point of view, anger feels a whole lot better. At least you can breathe in anger. And often you can't get a breath of air in depression. So if you were paying attention to the guidance that is within you, and you were reaching for the best feeling thought that you have access to, which is not over here in the sunshine, rainbows, lollipops, cotton candy area. In other words, you don't have access to those bright, shining, good feeling thoughts from your place of depression. But if you are listening to your Magellan, if you are listening to the guidance within you, and you are paying attention to the only thing that matters, which is this thought of anger an improved feeling for me? Then you know which direction you're facing. Of course, we're not wanting you to get stuck in anger. And there's a lot of vibrational range in anger, because there are some things that are really, really disturbing to you and some things that you are angry about that are not so disturbing. And the words that are used to describe emotions are really not the best way of guiding yourself, because different words mean different things to different people at different times. But we use the words because we are wanting you to get a sense that you have this infinite vibrational range within you, and you have this infinite range of emotions that lets you know how you're doing. And we would like to bring your attention to the fact that this guidance system that is within you is a feeling system. Your emotions are all about the way you feel. And if you will pay attention to the relief that different thoughts will give you, then you will be paying attention to your deliberate releasing of resistance.